Fortnite Season 3 has seen the player count decrease more than ever as people are feeling burnt out and bored of the content, but that is changing. There's an update releasing soon that could fix everything, so here's 20 updates that saved Fortnite. The summer update was going to be the community's big break, but low-key flopped because all we got was some ice cream and a shotgun. Luckily, the Dragon Ball update released this week and it could save Season 3. Fortnite Dragon Ball has taken over the internet and social media has gone wild. Clips are everywhere of Goku and Vegeta dancing, the mainstream media is freaking out, it's incredible. But some people think it's going to go further. With Shenron teased in the original announcement post, many people believe this could be hinting towards a live event. But for now, this next update literally brought millions back to the game. This year, so many players came back to the game because of one thing: zero builds. One of the main things that separates Fortnite from other games is the building mechanic, so deleting it for a week was a pretty risky thing to do. But Epic's gamble paid off massively, and OG players came back in waves, realizing that zero builds made Fortnite fun again, and since then, it's even become a permanent mode. One of Fortnite's greatest updates of all time was so popular that fans forced Epic Games to bring it back. At the start of Chapter 3, Fortnite released the Spider-Man crossover and included his mythic web shooters. It was so loved by everyone, and people pointed out that Fortnite did web slinging better than the actual Avengers game, so when it got removed, the community was devastated. Well, fans are rejoicing because Epic brought back the Spidey mythic as the grapple glove. Speaking of Chapter 3, watching the island flip is one of the most memorable moments in Fortnite history, and if it wasn't for this event, the game may have taken a turn for the worse. The Chapter 2 map was getting pretty stale after being hit by cubes, aliens, and the dreaded Coral Castle. There was no better time to move on. With the addition of the new island, we also had 3 biomes again. Those who preferred snow, sand, or grass were all taken care of, not to mention Season 3 has given us a 4th biome to explore, even if it's taken over half the map. The end event didn't just hand us a new map, it also revealed one of Fortnite's worst kept secrets. The Foundation was finally unmasked, unveiling his actor to be The Rock. This is the first time that a major Fortnite character was modeled to look like their actor. But this wasn't even Fortnite's most surprising crossover. After years of waiting, Epic Games finally released the first anime collab in 2021, Naruto, quickly becoming the most popular crossover that had ever released. It brought new mythics, 8 anime skins, and introduced millions of Naruto fans to the game. It was also released during one of Fortnite's most controversial seasons, so it's pretty safe to assume that Naruto helped players get through the final weeks of Chapter 2. On the other hand, one of Fortnite's most beloved seasons of all time happened just months before. Thanks to the Invasion update, the game went from hated to admired overnight. This new season brought UFOs, railguns, gravitrons, and a completely new abduction mechanic that let you earn loot. Not to mention Rick and Morty made a surprise appearance, and that was appreciated by a ton of players. But even though this next update was something that scared a lot of people, it ended up being one of the most important seasons that Fortnite has ever made. Epic made Chapter 2 Season 4 entirely Avengers themed, making it the only season in history to be a crossover. People were originally very worried about this, but Season 4 brought millions of players back to the game, and Fortnite bragged about it. The Devourer of Worlds experience broke the world record for the most viewed Fortnite event of all time, having 15.3 million players and 3.4 million live viewers. Over 2 years later, this record still stands and might happen again in Chapter 3 Season 4. Something that everyone wants to see return was a creature added in early 2022. Of course, I'm talking about Klombo. Introduced in Chapter 3, he instantly became a fan favorite. It's like the Fortnite community adopted this little guy, and Epic even made him unkillable because of it. But one day, they vanished, and the game hasn't felt the same since. But while Klombo may seem like the most loved Fortnite update of all time, there are other updates which single-handedly saved the game in its hour of need. One of these was Travis Scott's Astronomical. In April 2020, the world was going into lockdown. Everyone was suffering from one of the toughest situations that you can imagine, and being locked inside all day just made it worse. Epic Games was one of these companies. Employees were now working from home, and plans like the World Cup and future crossovers were canceled. Seasons were delayed for months, and the player count was dropping rapidly. Fortnite had to do something fast, and luckily, the stars were already aligned. Epic gave us 2 live events in one season, and the first of these was a virtual concert hosted by Travis Scott. This brought joy to so many people, and they flocked to Fortnite for some kind of normality. Not to mention, the concert itself was insane. It had incredible visuals, music, and blew the last event out of the water. It was so successful that Epic played the concert for a whole weekend and made tens of millions of dollars from merch sales. This update really gave Fortnite a huge boost during 2020. Without it, who knows what would have happened. A year before that, we had the best summer update that has ever released. While 2022 gave us a useless skate park and an empty music stage, the real frustration was how this compared to the previous summer events. In 2019, we got 14 days of summer. Every 24 hours, we get a new LTM, summer-themed outfit, and unvaulted weapon. Looking back, this was crazy. We would never get something like this in modern Fortnite. But that doesn't mean we don't don't get amazing updates. In 2020, Fortnite did the unthinkable. After years of saying they would never add cars to the game, Epic did a 180. The Joyride update brought sports cars, taxis, trucks, and more to Fortnite. It was such an important thing to add. Cars are easily one of the most popular ways to get around the map, even 2 years later. And I wouldn't have guessed that something which has been in Fortnite since Chapter 1 would end up on this list, but when it comes to Tilted Towers, it's a no-brainer. Tilted was removed from the map with the release of Chapter 2. Despite being the most popular POI ever made, it wasn't in Fortnite for years, and people were just losing passion for the game quickly. Because it was out of the game for so long, thousands of players had naturally left the game over time. But thankfully, there was one thing that could bring them back, and that was Tilted. So Epic did just that. In the middle of Chapter 3, the POI was restored to its former glory, and everyone came flooding back. But this was nothing compared to one of the most memorable Fortnite updates of all time. I mean, we've had dozens of events by now, but none of them compared to the final showdown. It wasn't the most viewed event, nor was it related to a crossover, but it still somehow became more iconic than any other update in Chapter 1. There's some events that happen around this time that truly changed gaming forever, and I can't wait to show you those, but in terms of Fortnite players, a majority of people would rank the final showdown in their top 3 events ever. Even people who never played it know how iconic it is. Although Fortnite wouldn't be successful without huge controversies. Even though the Imposter mode was the first LTM to take place outside of Battle Royale, it was a complete ripoff of Among Us, and the developers were not happy about it. The best part is they were able to resolve the tension, and Among Us was even added to Fortnite this year. You could argue there was no real reason for Epic to create such a big controversy, but the attention this mode got for copying Among Us brought even more players to the game. People still play it constantly, and Epic updated occasionally with new features. But nobody expected Fortnite to suddenly add first person into the game with Chapter 3, and that was the case when the MK7 assault rifle was introduced. It took everyone by surprise, and this red dot sight would eventually be added to other guns, changing Fortnite's loot pool forever. Rumor has it we are only months away from actual first person too, and I cannot wait for that. But the question is, who's gonna do it first? Fortnite players might beat Epic to their own game because of one of the most powerful updates that has ever released, and that is creative mode. 50% of Fortnite's playtime is spent in creative, while the other half is spent in modes made by Epic. I don't think anyone expected it to be that popular, and with Creative 2.0 on the way, it is only gonna get bigger. But where did all this come from? Years of beloved updates, crossovers, and events all spawned from one thing: Avengers Fortnite in 2018. This was the very first collab and one of the only times that the MCU has appeared in a video game. It changed Fortnite forever, launching the metaverse. Thanks to this, it became the biggest game in the world. In 5 years, we went from this to this. And it all started with the Infinity Gauntlet LTM. Not to mention the Gauntlet was also the first mythic item in the game. But things really took a turn when secret skins were cancelled. For years, the Fortnite Battle Pass included one outfit every 10 tiers, and a secret skin that could be unlocked through challenges. When it came to Chapter 2, Fortnite decided to do things differently. From this point onwards, secret skins would now be crossovers, and that started with Deadpool. People were so excited about this one. He came with his own secret room in the lobby, a yacht POI, and even mythic pistols. Epic went all out. Obviously, we can't be talking about things that changed Fortnite forever if we didn't bring up the Marshmello concert. To this day, people look back on this Pleasant Park event and reminisce about the simpler times, but back then, it was a huge accomplishment. At the time, not only was it the most viewed event Fortnite had ever done, it became the most watched virtual concert in history. But in 2017, when Battle Royale first released, it was simply going to be a side mode for Fortnite's main game. Nobody knew how popular it was going to be. The team working on BR was made up of around 50 people. That's why 5 years later, it's no longer just a Battle Royale. Fortnite has a storyline with cinematics, comic books, interactive events, even Hollywood actors. It's hard to pinpoint a specific update that made all of this possible, but the device event is definitely up there. Thanks to the device, the storyline was knocked into overdrive, introducing the Imagined Order, John Jones, and the Loop. Even though the 7 vs. IO saga came to an end last season, it was the device that introduced us to it in the first place. And it's pretty crazy how some of Fortnite's most adored updates didn't actually add anything. In Chapter 1, Epic released a silent hotfix in the middle of the night, and it only did one thing: vaulting the Infinity Blade. This was just the first of many updates that would become iconic for removing OP weapons. When the community were insanely angry over Season X mechs, Epic were forced to cave in, removing the brutes from the game overnight, and the same thing happened with the Stormwings. But now it's time for the biggest update of Fortnite history, something that Epic will never be able to replicate again: the Black Hole. Taking Fortnite, the most popular game in the entire world, and shutting it down for 3 days, a game gaming had never seen anything like this before. Kids were going insane, thinking that Fortnite had been taken offline. It's all the world could talk about. Nobody knew when the game was gonna come back, and social media had gone black. When the servers did turn back on, we were introduced to a new world, Chapter 2. There were rumors of a new map for months, but nobody was prepared for just how important it would turn out to be. The decision to move into Chapter 2 single-handedly added years onto Fortnite's lifespan, and it makes it realize that Epic actually do know what they're doing. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy. Keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.